This video will walk you through a step-by-step process of building a fenced-in vegetable garden with raised beds in your own backyard. So let's get started. Hi, my name is Avanti. In the spring of 2020, we built a beautiful vegetable garden in our backyard and we couldn't be happier. We spent a lot of our free time in the garden, tending to our plants, enjoying the sunlight, and also the beautiful butterflies and bees that visit us. We created this video to help you think through the process of making your own garden. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel Food, Life and Money if you haven't already. I will walk you through the following 19 steps. Step number 1. Choosing the right spot for the garden. Consider sunlight and water access when you make this decision. The land next to our deck is pretty flat and is perfect for growing vegetables. It is south facing and gets plenty of sunlight during the day. Also, we have a water outlet close to that spot, so this spot was a natural choice. Step number 2. Finalizing the dimensions. This was going to be a one-time project, so we decided to build the biggest garden we could fit on level land instead of starting small and expanding later. Our plan allowed for 25 by 15 feet. If using lumber for raised beds and fence, consider making the dimensions into multiples of standard lumber lengths to minimize wastage. Step 3. Sketching a plan. We sketched the design with pencil on a piece of paper and then translated it into a digital version so I could share it with you. I wanted raised beds along the periphery of the garden and a couple of larger beds in the middle. The walkways are about 2.5 feet wide. The width of the beds is also 2.5 feet, so that allows for easy access to the edges and corners without having to strain your back or having to step into the beds and compacting the soil. Step number 4. Choosing the material for the beds and the fence. We wanted our beds to last long, but also look good. Here are a few options we considered. Pressure-treated wood, natural, pest-resistant wood like cedar and walnut, and cinder blocks. Natural wood was very expensive, and cinder blocks didn't appeal to us aesthetically, so we decided to go with pressure-treated wood. Our beds are 10 inches tall. Step 5. Fencing. Our property borders a state park and we often see a lot of wildlife in the yard. Having had flowering plants annihilated by deer, we were determined to keep these adorable, annoying critters out of the garden. We decided to install galvanized steel fencing for deer, rabbits, and squirrels. Step number 6. DIY or contracting. We decided to hire a contractor for the project instead of doing it on our own. But if you're handy and have a partner who is handy, it is totally doable. It took the guys 4 days to complete the project. So if you're doing it yourselves, it is doable over 2 to 3 weekends. But do remember that you can either save time or save money, but not both. If choosing to hire a contractor, get quotes from several contractors. Scope out your project first. The total cost of your project should be around twice the cost of the materials if you're hiring a contractor. Step number 7. Clearing the land. We were offered an option to use weed killer to kill the grass, but instead chose to have the grass dug out to make it environmentally safe. It took 2 men about half a day to dig through the grass. Step number 8. Fence posts. We used 4x4 posts that needed to be at least 8 feet above the ground to prevent deer from jumping over. The depth of the hole was about 3 feet. The posts were set in ground with quick-setting concrete. We needed 12 posts. Each dot in this picture represents one post, and each post needed about a bag of quick-setting concrete. Step number 9, raised beds. This is how you would calculate the total length of beds needed. Calculate the outer perimeter. Calculate the inner perimeter. Calculate perimeter of any boxes inside the fenced garden, not along the periphery. Then calculate the total length of all the partitions. Sum all these lengths together to get the total length. We used 2x10s to create 10-inch tall beds. For the beds, we needed about 212 feet of 2x10s. If you use 2x4s and want 12-inch tall beds, you would triple the total length you just calculated. You can certainly make the beds taller, but please note that the taller your beds are, the more you're going to spend on soil. 10-inch beds have worked out great for us so far. Step number 10, soil. We chose a mix of compost and topsoil. We calculated the area of the beds and multiplied it by the height of the bed in feet to get the volume of soil we were going to need in cubic feet. Dividing that amount by 27 gave us the volume in cubic yards. The total came out to about 7 cubic yards. We would need about 8 to allow for the soil to settle and also fill our other containers and pots. Step number 11, the walkway. The path in the garden was covered with landscape fabric before being covered with pea gravel. We calculated the area of the walkway and multiplied it by 1/4 feet to get the volume in cubic feet. And then using the same principle, divided by 27 to get it in cubic yards. Step number 12, fencing the garden. Our garden was fenced with 2x4s and galvanized steel deer fencing. Calculate the perimeter of the garden and double it. Add the lengths needed for the door frame as shown in this picture. We used approximately 180 feet of 2x4s for the frame of the fence and the gate. For deer, we needed 80 feet by 8 feet of galvanized steel fencing. The lower periphery of the garden was additionally fenced using 80 feet of tighter poultry fencing to keep rabbits and squirrels out. Here's a quick recap of all the materials used in this project. This list is also on our website, FoodLifeAndMoney.com. Step number 13, soil enrichment. This was our first year growing in our new garden, and the soil was already nutrient rich. For subsequent years, I plan to mix compost from our compost bin into the soil before planting. This year, I applied a natural seaweed fertilizer to the soil before planting, and once again 3 weeks after planting. You can also use bone meal for soil enrichment. Step number 14, creating a planting plan. Here's what we did this year. I will try to update this every planting season on our website, FoodLifeAndMoney.com. The corners of the garden are less accessible than the rest of the garden. We planted some flowers and blueberries in the corners. A planting plan will help you stay organized. For example, beans, cucumbers grow on vines, so those will be vertical. You can plant herbs under them. Also, beans will help enrich the soil. Step number 15, the fun part, planting. It was a lot of fun planting seedlings in the garden with the whole family. I had started some seeds indoors in mid-March, so they were ready to go in the soil around Memorial Day weekend in Maryland. It was a fun family affair. My daughter had a blast planting seeds. If you're new to gardening, here are some easy vegetables that you can start with. Step number 16, markers. Markers help you stay organized. When you plant seeds or tiny seedlings, it is not easy to differentiate one plant from another. Markers help you keep track of what was planted. We painted some rocks from our yard into these cute fun markers for the garden. They've been painted with acrylic paint and sealed with a sealant. I'll keep you posted on how they last through this year on our website, FoodLifeAndMoney.com. You can also use paint stirrers or craft sticks as markers. Step number 17, upkeep and maintenance. July was very hot this year, so we had to water the garden almost every day when it didn't rain. We spent about an hour every day in the garden, weeding or watering or taking care of pests. The most annoying bugs were whiteflies and Mexican bean beetles. Spraying a little soap water took care of most of them. The beetles had to be handpicked and dropped into soapy water. I have also used insect soap and neem oil at times. Plan to spend at least 15 minutes in your garden each day. It helps to spot pests and other problems sooner rather than later. Step 18, harvest. Here's a list of the vegetables we planted: tomatoes, cucumbers, hot green chilies, pumpkin, sweet peppers, carrots, okra, beets, varieties of lettuce, peas, herbs, squashes, zucchini, long beans, cluster beans, red cow beans, bitter gourd, and eggplant. Your garden is your own experiment. Some plants will succeed, others will fail, but keep trying different combinations. We harvested everything except peppers and eggplant. For some reason, peppers just didn't grow. We are just starting to see baby eggplants in early September. Our cucumbers got attacked by Mexican bean beetles, but not before we harvested about 20 or so cucumbers. Step number 19. At the end of the season, we plan to clear the garden of any vegetable remains, add compost from the compost pile, and cover it with a dark plastic to put the garden to bed for the winter. Building this garden was a fun project for us. My daughter used to be a very picky eater, but loves eating vegetables she grows. Gardening was also a great way to spend quality time with the family, especially in this pandemic. Enjoy this tour of our garden and some wildlife from the yard. If you like our video, please share it with your friends who may benefit from it. Stay safe and be well. Happy gardening!